Then, of course, there is the economy and the internal market. And the third element, which is, I think, increasingly important in the modern times, is also about environment and climate change. But let's first start with the protection, defense, security. I mean, because it was no accident that the European Union started after the Second World War, because there was a very clear feeling among many people in Europe that after the Second World War we should never ever have that kind of war again. So that's how very much the European Union, or at that time it was still called the European Community, or even in the very beginning the European Community of Coal and Steel, it very much started with Germany, West Germany at the time, and France, saying, okay, we have fought too many wars in the past, let's make that for once and for all impossible by working more together, and not only working together, but also merging some elements of our, exactly the coal and the steel production, which were considered to be the most strategic, the most vital element of the industry. So that's how it all started. And then, of course, the Netherlands was one of the so-called founding fathers. I don't know why they say founding fathers or not founding mothers. So let's say founding parents of the European community at the time, together with France and Germany and Belgium and Luxembourg and Italy. So that's where it started. And then from the 1950s through the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it started to grow. And in the 90s, it very much added the element of the common market, because in the modern world you need that advantage of scale. So they invented the common market to try to do away as much as possible with the borders and to create more economic advantages for the member states. And then I would say there is this important element of the environment of climate change. And I think environment is important because especially your region, this region of Bregalnica, of which Delčevo is one of the heart of the Bregalnica region, is environmentally a very important region. And it's important to protect that for future generations, as it is important that we try to limit the effects of climate change by working together. And that kind of cooperation is also much easier to do it on a bigger scale, working together with other European countries, with your neighbors. Of course, the first neighbor for this region is of course Bulgaria, but also with other neighbors, Greece and Serbia and Albania, to work together on protecting the environment in the Balkans and try to work together to limit the effects of climate change, which might have a profound effect on the future of all of us. So that's also an important element why it is important to work together as a European Union. Now, what does that mean for the Netherlands and Macedonia? When Macedonia became independent in 1991, the Netherlands was one of the first countries to, first of all, recognize Macedonia, and secondly, to try to help it, especially in the difficult period of the 1990s, when unfortunately there was still a lot of conflict and even war going on in this part of Europe, which unfortunately neither of the countries here or countries elsewhere managed to avoid or to prevent that. Anyway, we tried as the Netherlands very much to help Macedonia to develop its economy, to develop the democracy, and very importantly, develop rule of law. Because we are strongly convinced that in order to build a prosperous society, it is extremely important to have a functioning rule of law, to have functioning institutions that are accountable to people. That you can, first of all, of course, vote for a parliament that will create a government, but just as important that a government is accountable to you, and that you can call people in parliament, that you can call people in the government, that you have judges that can hold people accountable if they do wrong things. And that's how we, from the very beginning, have helped Macedonia with the judiciary, with the prosecution, including also the special prosecution in recent years, with the Association of Judges, and many other institutions in first Macedonia and now North Macedonia. Also in the economy, we have had several ways of trying to encourage Dutch companies to invest here, but also to help Macedonian companies to develop more, to develop products for the Macedonian market or even for export. Later today I will visit a dairy company here in Delčevo to see how they are doing. On the way to Delčevo we passed through Vinica and Kočani and Stip, where I visited many Dutch companies, ranging from the textile producers to a company like Antura, who are kind of doing biotechnology on producing small orchid plants that then are sold as orchid flowers all over the world, made in Macedonia. Well, that's really something to be proud of. When I say proud, of course I think of Tamara. And of course I'm happy that the Netherlands won the Eurovision Song Festival. That we have the honor and the pleasure of hosting next year's Eurovision. But at the same time, I would say that I think you all can be proud, seriously proud, of what North Macedonia brought to Eurovision. And I've had the honor of meeting once Tamara, and I know she is a wonderful person. She has a fantastic voice, and she performed really well. And I think that after last Saturday night, many more people, in not only Europe, but in the whole world, know now about North Macedonia, know about Tamara, and are altogether proud that North Macedonia is part of Europe. Maybe I will stop here and ask you to ask me questions, or simply to share your ideas, or maybe your dreams, or whatever you want to tell me. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you so much for your speech. Who would like to be first and to ask? Feel free to talk. Feel free to ask. Who would like to be?
Maybe let me add one little other thing, but I forgot to mention, because on the way...
I don't want to interrupt you. I would like to ask you something. Because we are here, and we are part of the educational system here, can you please tell us something about the educational system of the Netherlands?
Okay.
How does it work? When do students start school? When do they finish? How many classes do they have in primary, in secondary? How is it organized?
Okay. We start going to school at 4 years old, which means that my oldest grandson, who is 3.5, he will go to school in October. And of course, school for 4 years old means it's more like a kindergarten. But we've organized it in such a way that children already go to school at 4 years old, so that they get used to the idea of going to school at 9 in the morning and sitting at least half a day in school. So we have a primary school that goes from 4 till 12 years. So that's more, the first 2 years are more playing, and then it's a more serious primary school. And then we have secondary school from 12 till 18. And then we have in various categories. So you go either to the gymnasium, like here. This is the gymnasium, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
And both vocational courses we have also.
Okay, in the same gymnasium?
Yes, in the same school.
Yeah, okay. But we would also have usually big secondary schools, which can have 1,000 and sometimes 2,000 or even 3,000 students. And usually in various schools. So part of that big school is gymnasium, and part is more a vocational school that might also be shorter. It might be, it's either 4 years usually for the vocational and 6 years for the gymnasium. And after that, you go to a, let's say, tertiary school, to either university. After the gymnasium, you can go to university, which is more a research university, or you go to an applied science university, which is more a vocational kind of education. So that's a kind of the system that we have. What I wanted to add is that on the way here, we had luckily 2 hours in the car or in the bus to look a little bit at your website. And I don't know who is responsible for making the website of the school.
Any of you? Are you responsible or the teachers? I'm not sure about that because I am an English teacher. I think that math and informatics teacher, ICT teacher,
Okay.
are responsible for that.
Yeah, I
I'm
want
not
to-
sure, but I'm not sure.
A big compliment, because it looks really nice and it shows a lot of your activities. I mean, I saw that some of you were on a one-day excursion to Macedonian churches and monasteries. I saw that a school from Ljubljana visited. Yes, I see, okay. You were there? Yeah? How was it?
Wonderful.
Yeah? What did they come to do?
Sorry?
What did they come to do here from Ljubljana?
Well, first we went there as a student exchange for a week in Ljubljana, and then they visited us for a week.
Nice!
So we visited some classes there in their school, and then they did the same. We had fun.
That's probably the most important, that you had fun together. And what was for you, let's say, the biggest difference, or I should say the big eye-opener when you visited the school in Ljubljana?
The school system is a bit different than ours. So,
What's the difference?
Well, you can always be explicit, no?
Yes.
Your teacher is right, always ask further.
well, the most important thing is that they choose what they're going to study a bit more than we do. So they have less classes, and the classes that they do visit are according to their interest.
Aha.
Get what I'm saying?
Okay, so they choose more and they...
They study what they like a bit more than we do.
Okay, okay.
At least that's my opinion.
But do you think that they still then learn enough what they need to learn?
Well, if they're interested, they probably do.
Yeah, it makes
But it
sense.
depends.
Makes sense. A very diplomatic way of saying, by the way, this. Very diplomat. What would you like to study yourself?
Oh.
What would you like to study more, let's say?
Well, for me, it's physics.
Okay. Bravo, I always found that very hard.
It is.
Yeah. The other thing what I saw on your website is that you're very active in nature protection.
Yeah, I think that yesterday was, I think that a student from here
Yeah.
was present in that activity. I don't know what is it, so can
Who can tell me more about it?
I think Antonio, I saw you on the website, on the picture there.
За това тук е много, да?
Včera.
Jeff? Is it Včera?
Včera?
Ah,
Nature Day.
Rose in Europe 2000.
I
And
was
Robert
curious, so I
Biden.
don't know anything about that. So can you please tell us?
Local village nearby.
Uh-huh. Where in? Leknovo?
Negrovo.
Negrovo, Negrovo.
It's village in Berovo.
Yeah, okay.
So we were building, we were separated into 3 groups, and we made a bear house.
A bear house.
Yeah, that's we made it somehow like a cave, and
Yeah.
we made ecosystem, a river ecosystem, and snakes ecosystem.
Okay. How do you make a snake ecosystem?
Rocks.
Rocks, okay. Okay. And did you manage to invite some snakes to your
I
ecosystem?
wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I would like that too.
No, I wouldn't like it. Why should I?
Why did you do that?
I don't want snakes around me.
No?
Why?
They're beautiful.
Yes, they are, but sometimes they're not.
Okay. But nevertheless, you build those ecosystems in order to...
In order to, it was somehow a presentation of, I think that building is used,
Yeah.
so present us what's there.
Yeah.
Something happened. Because no one from here was there.
Yeah. And you did it alone with people from the school or with people from the
Along from the school.
Yeah. But were also some NGO helping out with that? Was
Yeah,
there any
there was-
društvo?
One guy was helping he was I think from Ohrid, and he was a biologist, and he was helping us make the bear house.
Ah, dat was maybe from the Makedonske Ecological Društvo. Or
Maybe.
might be. What was his name? Okay.
I can't remember.
I have quite some friends in the Ecological Društvo, so I might know them.
And he was young.
Okay. Young as in younger than I am. Okay. Nevertheless, no. I sometimes take part in these activities of the Ecological Društvo. For instance, when we count in the winter water birds, or when we do research on breeding birds, and especially this region of Bregalnica is very important. So that's why I think it will also be part of this Natura 2000 ecological infrastructura.
That was the same organization.
Yeah.
We got t-shirts from them.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. So I can see that your school is very active and is engaging in many different activities. And also, as the principal of the school told me, that indeed you're very active also in study trips, going to Brussels and other places. Who was in the study trip in Brussels? Okay, maybe. Yeah, tell me. How was it?
Amazing, in one word.
Amazing. And what was the most amazing?
The European Commission and the Parliament. It gave me the best effect of feeling the air in Brussels.
Sorry, the best effective.
The best effect of feeling the air in Brussels.
Aha.
The feeling of being there.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. And you know, of course, now there are European Parliament elections today in Brussels, or in all of the, starting today in the Netherlands and in the United Kingdom, and then it will continue in other countries in the coming days. Yes. What did you learn in your visit in Brussels that you did not know before?
Well, a lot of things. I can't remember exactly what I specifically learned, but it was really educational.
Okay. Very nice. You were also in Brussels? Yes? What can you tell me about your visit to Brussels?
It was beautiful, and we studied more things. It was more different, like from here.
Yeah.
Tell us what we should visit.
Well, for first, the weather was worse. It was probably
Yes.
exactly. It was
Raining.
it was cold. It was rainy, and probably there was a lousy strong wind.
Yes, there was all the wind.
That's it. And the area around Brussels is flat.
Yes.
You have no mountains.
No one.
You have no forest like this.
No.
You have no river like the Bregalnica. So what was good about it? Or you were happy to be back home again?
how many days did you stay there? What did you visit?
2 nights and 3 days.
2 nights and 3 days, okay.
What did you visit?
We visited the parliament,
Okay.
the parliamentarium.
So you met with some members of parliament
Yeah,
From the
just some of
Bulgarians.
them.
from the Bulgaria, okay.
I think it was called
Andrei Kovacev, okay. And what was his message?
his message. I want to see you one day here. That was his message.
Well, yeah, that's a very strong and very good message. Exactly. Yeah. Because indeed, I think that would be very good if one day, indeed, North Macedonia will be part, and of course we don't know when, but it would be certainly, I think, good for this country and also good for Europe if North Macedonia will join. Who has more questions? Yes.
I'm Angela Stojanovska. I come from.
Sorry, your name is?
Angela Stojanovska.
Okay,
I come from secondary state vocational school of economy and law, Vasil Dren. And in Skopje we have a lot of
Say that
problems.
again from Vasil
Vasil Dren.
Da, okay.
And in Skopje we have problem with our air, especially in winter. It's so polluted. So I was